Hey family, welcome to another broadcast. So glad that you guys can join us for another day. Today is Wednesday, January the 17th, 2024. And for some of y'all, it's very cold outside. And some of y'all, it's kind of cold outside. And the rest of y'all, I don't even know what category to put you in. But it's on the cooler side. But it's actually here where we are in the beautiful Phoenix area. It's actually slightly getting warmer. Slightly. I think let me see if I can pull up the weather for this week here. Let's see. So today, it was pretty warm. It was 69. Tomorrow is going to get up to 73. Friday is going to be 74. Then Saturday, 73. The only sunny day they're saying will be tomorrow. So it's pretty nice. And and I was looking at the when I was out walking today, I was in the desert again and started to see some growth. On some of these plants out here. I was like, springtime is right around the corner. It's coming. So it's coming. So some of y'all may have some snow out there, or it may be really cold, but weep not. It's coming. It's coming. You got to keep telling yourself that. We're almost out of January, heading on into February. And for the most part, the weather's going to change up a little bit. And it's going to start getting a little bit warmer. Just keep in mind, we passed the darkest day. I think whatever night that is like the darkest day of the year. And then from there, it starts getting a little bit lighter, longer, stays lighter, a little bit longer, a little bit longer, a little bit longer, a little bit longer. I remember this is some years back. We were living in Colorado, and we had made the decision that we were going to move back to California because it was, Colorado just wasn't for us. I mean, it's a beautiful state. But it just wasn't for us. It just wasn't. I mean, everyone's got their own little thing, but for us, it just wasn't. But it's a beautiful state, though. I don't want to take that away. Anyway, I was doing security work, late night, graveyard shift. I tell you what, if you please, at the end of the day, you got to do what you got to do. You know what I mean? If you're trying to, make sure your family's fed, make sure the light is on, make sure the house is warm, that kind of thing, right? And you got to do what you got to do. But man, if you can avoid working those overnight shifts, it is not worth it. It's not worth it. It is not good for your health. It really isn't. And I can remember every night counting down the hours to the day that we were going to be moving. And I can remember sitting up there early in the morning, just looking at, it's actually staying light, getting lighter a little bit sooner, and and just looking at all of that, and that was something that just brought back some memories. But like I said again, Colorado is a beautiful state, but it just, I have some stories. It just, that'll be for another broadcast. But anyway, so glad that you guys can join us for this broadcast, and hope you guys are having a wonderful day and a wonderful week. And let's see, the last video we did, I kind of snuck up on me. The video we did, we said about Miles Monroe understanding the Matrix. Man, that thing blew up. I wasn't expecting that, but it did. I think we're at 13,000 people that saw that, and it's still climbing. And so, but what we did and what was done in that video was actually Miles Monroe. I've never, I always thought he was a great teacher, and I've spent many times sharing, many of my own personal experiences, not with him, but just with his teaching, and how his teaching was really a blessing in my family and our household. I'm going back Miles Monroe all the way back, Miles Monroe, all the way back. I'm talking Azusa Street, Miles Monroe. So I go way back with Turnell Nelson and some of the other people he used to roll with back then. Jefferson Edwards. There's someone else I'm missing too, but it was a whole crew of them that they used to roll together. So I'm not one of these people that just came across a video and just saw a few minutes of it and just jumped on it. Miles Monroe, I've gone way back, way back. I think we somewhere in my boxes, I may still have a VHS of him when they did this huge conference down in the Bahamas, and this is going back many long time. So I really liked how he think. I really like how he analyzed the Bible and would talk about it and all that stuff. And then, of course, unfortunately, when he passed away, like it always is the case, Negroes come from all over the place, both near and far, and want to say this is God's judgment on him. And I was like, where was all this coming from? And, he got away from the truth, and, he would start teaching some other things. And, then someone in the comments was saying he's part of a fraternity. I didn't know anything about a fraternity, but the video wasn't about his membership or lack thereof of any fraternity. And then, people just bringing up all kinds of stuff. I tell you, it just, it's something. I think sometimes I said when it's time for me to cross that bridge or whatever, it's going to be interesting to see. I ain't going to be thinking about y'all at that point. But anyway, he brought out some a lot of interesting things. Now as I moved away from Christianity, remember, on this platform, we've always said, listen, there is some truth within it, and there's things that are not true. We stand on the truth. So regardless of where the truth comes from, truth is truth, right? So we don't tell people you got to throw out the Bible. I have said this thing, I don't know how many times to people, and it still goes over people's heads. Because the first thing they says, well, so are you saying to throw out the Bible? Where are you saying that? See, what that is, it's like a lazy mindset, because you want someone to what's happened is someone is questioning it. And so you want to hit fast forward. You want to double tap and get to a conclusion, or want someone to double tap for you. You know how y'all be doing double tapping on these videos and trying to get to the end. What's the point? And no, you don't need to double tap on this. We've spent an exhaustive amount of time, just really talking about where we come from and where we are now. And at the end of the day, like I said, truth is truth. But what we've done is actually taken a much, much closer look at the Bible. We've taken a much, much closer look at the people behind the Bible. And the Bible itself, number one, did not fall from the sky. You didn't wake up one morning and you heard a voice coming from the heavens and said, here's the book. You must read it. My son, read it. That didn't happen. No, you got it from a Greco-Roman source. That's what because that's pretty much, and Jewish as well. That's where it came from. It did not come from your great grandmother. They were not Bible. There were not Bible shelves full with Bibles on slave ships. That's not the case. That's not what happened. Your people did not know. If you trace your lineage through the transatlantic slave trade, your people didn't know anything about a Bible. They did not. Okay. And so this is historically true. And I'm actually going to show you just one little piece of that. And then I'll show you, then what I'm also going to do is show you just the different series that we've done. Because see, what we have done on this platform is, my wife and I, is we've actually documented just how we have, the more and more we start digging and more we start asking questions, we were immediately putting that before you and sharing that and documenting that and saying, here's all the stuff that we've come up with. What's your thoughts on it? So all of this is documented. And so the videos that I will be pointing you out, the series that we will be pointing to you this evening, these are things that are not TikToks. So what I mean by that is, you're not going to get through it in 2 minutes. You're not going to get through it in 30 seconds. You're not going to get through it through 60 seconds. It's going to require time. And I intentionally take my time, because That's what I had to go through. And likewise, anybody that's really serious about the foundation that they claim to stand on, you want to make sure you're taking all the time you need to take to make sure that that foundation is sound. And with that, you also want to make sure that you have all the receipts. You understand what I'm saying? Not just receipts that I'm telling you, because I've always said, don't never just take my word for it. Always take the information regardless of who you hear it from. And it's on you to take the time, to take the initiative to look these things up yourself. We got to get away from the days of thinking that your pastor, not that I'm trying to be anybody's pastor, or, in this day is your e-pastor, your digital pastor, your YouTube pastor. We cannot think as if the person that you perceive to be more spiritual or, whatever, they are the ones that are leading you. No. You got your own household. You got your own children. You got your own marriage. And most of all, you have your own foundation. And if you are not sure of your foundation, then I really am concerned about what your future generations are going to look like, because they're going to be looking at each other like, okay, well, what do we believe in? So that's what we're going to be doing tonight. We're going to actually open the phone lines up. And every time I do this, the phone lines, for the most part, get pretty silent. People prefer trying to tell you off in the comment section. They're going to tell you off in the comment section. Then I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to go live tonight. Here's the phone number once you call in. Well, I don't have time for this. And listen, I don't have time for this. I ain't got time for debate or anything like this. Listen, I got to go to work in the morning. These are all real excuses. I ain't got time for this. Brother, listen, you got your thing. And listen, I'm going to believe what I'm going to believe at the end of the day and all this stuff. And then I'll be like, okay, fine. And then the next day I wake up, they got this long comment that they done left a whole book. And I'm like, well, wait a minute now. I thought you saying you didn't have time. Well, I got time now. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, why can't you talk? Now, just to let you know, family, I have no interest in arguing with anybody. I have no interest in debating anybody. I have no interest in talking down on anybody. If you've been following me long enough, I don't do that at all. Tonight, what we want to do is we want to hear, we want to listen, and we're going to ask questions on your logic. That's it. That's it. I'm just going to ask. I'm going to list, just as I meticulously try to explain how I arrive at certain things. I'm going to do the same thing if you call in. It's the same thing. I'm going to ask questions. And, whatever your conclusions are at the end of the day, they're your conclusions. I ain't sitting up here like, I don't like this person. Let me get down. Now, if you come up and you want to start trying to talk over somebody and being disrespectful, then I will tell you right now, will not be the platform for you. Okay, it's not going to be that. You're not going to find on this platform. You're not some platforms, they have all the Brady Bunch squares on there and everybody talking at once and all that stuff. I don't do that kind of stuff. Okay, nah, we're going to take it one at a time. Okay, so I promise, like I said, when you call in, I ain't saving your number. I ain't up here going to be calling you during the middle of the week. Now, why did you say that? Don't you know you embarrassing me? I ain't got time for that. I really don't. Okay, so if you want to call in, I'll have the number up on the screen in a little bit, okay? But anyway, before we get started here, again, big shout out to everybody that's in the chat. So glad to see everyone here. All your my imagined smiling faces of you, because I can't see y'all, so I just can imagine. I'm hoping you're smiling. I know some of y'all got your bonnets on. I'm talking about the ladies. Like, you brothers better not have no bonnets on. But I know some of y'all already got your bonnets on. You got your house coat on. You ready for bed, or you sitting in your favorite chair and all that. That's all good. Just, I want y'all to be comfortable tonight, okay? And that's what we're going to do. And we're just going to listen in and have a conversation, and that's it, okay? And so anyway, before we get started, just a quick reminder again, if you're not aware, you should be aware by now, we have a website here, sambatree.com. Make sure you check it out. And on sambatree.com, we, of course, have a number of wonderful things here. And everything from different types of seasonings to different types of teas to different types of herbal remedies to all kinds of stuff. Our favorite drink, that soursop drink, oils, all kinds of wonderful stuff. And we really appreciate each and every one of y'all who do shop at the tree at sambatree.com. And this is something that we started a while back. Again, this is, out of just wanting to see our people get not just access to these things, not as if you can't get cinnamon anywhere else, but we also take the time to educate people on each and every one of these things here. We are not interested in just putting it up here and say, buy it, please, but no, we want to educate. Okay, why is this type of cinnamon better than just the regular run-of-the-mill cinnamon? Why is it important for you to cleanse your colon? Okay, what's the benefits of soursop and sea moss and all kinds of things? Some of y'all that got your sweet toothus, and you like to have a little treat or something. And then, so what we did is we found the manufacturer of the people who used to make the dark chocolate honey patties for Trader Joe's. Well, they kind of went off grid, but we went off grid right with them, and we found them, and we was able to get their stuff, and now we sell their stuff right here on Sabatree. We even have our own for the ladies. We got a whole perfume line for y'all, and ain't no we gonna run in the dollar store and rip off the Chinese labels and put our own on. Nah, we told the man, we work with individuals who specialize in this area, and we tell them exactly, okay, let's try this. Okay, why don't we mix this with that and this and that or whatever, right? All kinds of things. So anyway, so we got, and this is something we haven't talked about in a while. We got this thing called the Immunity Shield. Now, the Immunity Shield, it is something that has a little bit of everything. So this is, for many of you who want to start the year off right, and you want to, have a little bit of everything, we put together a whole big package for you, the Immunity Shield, of different things that's in here. Everything from moringa powder to bitters to black seed oil to tamarind to baobab chews, dried sea moss, mullein leaf tea. All of that is all packaged together. So, of course, you don't have to buy it all like that. It's all, that's just if you just want to get one big pack. What was the other thing here I wanted to mention? All kinds of teas and stuff like that, but just check out. Oh yeah. And then also we have the, if you want to buy in bulk, we have that section as well. Okay. So again, the website is sambatree.com. All right, let's go ahead and get in it. Let's talk about it. All right. So anyway, I hate when this camera does this. So anytime you're going to see me holding up my comb here, that's not a sign. I ain't throwing up any kind of sign. That's just me trying to, when my camera gets a little blurred like that, I have to get it to refocus. So if you see me doing that tonight, I'm not throwing up any kind of signs. Don't be doing no videos on me. It'll be, I already see it now, it'll be a thumbnail of me like this. And they're like, take the picture, turn it this way, and then you can see it's a backwards Hebrew. Just stop it. Okay. It's a comb. All right. So anyway, so just to get things started here, like I mentioned, my wife and I, we have documented kind of our journey. For those of you, this is your first time on our platform. Again, we want to welcome you. We talked about how we were in Christendom, and kind of grew up in that for the most part. And then as you get older, you have questions, and, things just don't be like the people say, the math wasn't mathing with, when it came to Christianity and all of that. We've explained all this. I'm just giving you just kind of a generalized overview of, kind of where we've been and where we're going, that kind of thing. Okay. But if you want all the details, I think I actually put together a playlist here. I'll look for it in a moment here. Hold on just a second here. Where's that playlist? Let's see. I have so many. A lot of these playlists are hidden, so I ain't trying to get y'all to see my other playlist. Hold on. Let me see the newest one. Let me look at. Yeah, I put together. No, hold on. That's on my homepage. Hold on. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Okay. All right. All right. I got it. Okay. So let me look at this one here. I think this was it. Sorry, y'all. I'm just trying to find which. Trying to find. Oh, okay. Okay. This is it. This is it. This is it. Okay. All right. I found it now. All right. Here we go. All right, here we go. So this one is the name of this one is called Leaving the Hebrew Matrix. Okay. And so, in this video here, the saying goodbye, okay, the saying goodbye one, that actually, if you start all the way from the beginning one, that which is this one right here, this one is a long one. It's like a little over 2.5 hours long. This one here, it talks about, we get into a little bit talking about our Christian background and all of that, but the bulk of it is talking about our experience when we journeyed into the Hebrew world, the Hebrew space, right? And we talked about the things we saw, the things we've noticed, and things we've learned, the things that we're glad is behind us, and all that stuff. So we were very raw with that, very, very raw with this one. So the saying goodbye one, that is, yeah. So that's that. Okay. So if you kind of want to know, okay, let me get a little background on you. That's a good one to start with. Okay. I have some other ones here. Now, some of y'all, your eyes are too quick, and you too quick to come to a conclusion. If you saw this video here, is our creator too gendered? We are not saying that. Okay. Don't go by the title. You need to watch the video, because that is not our conclusion there. Okay. So no, we don't do that. Okay. So again, don't make a judgment based off of the title. You need to look at the whole video to see exactly why I'm asking that question in the first place. Okay. Some of y'all be very surprised. Okay. Let's see what else we have. And then a lot of these videos that you'll see here are videos that just really go through, just kind of our journey, if you will, into figuring out some things, or, some things just kind of dawn on you. You don't just wake up one day and say, okay, I'm not going to believe this no more, or I'm not going to do that anymore. It's a process. And so that's what we try to do here on this platform. We try to take you through our own process and share that with you, and give people the opportunity to share in, to chime in as well, and to share your own experiences and journeys as well. Right. And that's it. So yeah, so this one is called Leaving the Hebrew Matrix. I actually put it, if you go to the homepage of our YouTube page here, Samba Journeys, you'll see I created different playlists, and the Leaving the Hebrew Matrix, that's one of them right there. You'll find that. Okay. Then I have some other ones here that I'll probably adding there. I'll be doing some more podcasts in the future. So yeah, so just keep your eyes on that as well. Okay. So yeah, I just wanted to share that with you right quick. So if you want to get an idea where we're coming from and what we're about, those are some good videos to start at. Oh, okay. Anyway, so okay, so now what another thing we did was we came up with this page here. Okay, so because it's not just there, that's just YouTube stuff. Okay. But what we also did is that we, every Saturdays, and many of you guys are on here now, every Saturdays we will be on our platform, mybondtube.com. And that's when we would be doing even more, diving in even more into these, journeys into like discoveries. Like what I mean by that is really kind of dissecting the history, looking at the history of the Bible. Like, who are the people that really put this together? And so that's what we did. And so if you go to our Linktree page, which is right here, and I'll put the link in the chat for you. Copying and pasting that there. It's in the chat. Okay. You will find that our different series here. Now, again, these aren't TikToks. So don't come expecting that, it's too long, brother. I don't have time for that. Okay, then you ain't ready. It's just as simple as that. Well, I don't understand. Like, I had this one person literally days going back and forth with me. On one hand, telling me I don't have time to spend watching any of your videos. Just tell me, basically, answer my question. And I'm like, I'm answering your question, but if you want a fuller question so that it ain't just because the questions you're asking aren't just simply yes and no questions. I'm advising you to watch these videos because I'm giving you slides that have references and all that stuff so that you can look at the same information I'm looking at, and then you can come to your own conclusion. I'm not going to take a whole entire book and just summarize it in one sentence. You can't do that. That's not being fair to the information. You understand what I'm saying? So we take information like that very, very seriously, regardless of what we're talking about. So anyway, so what I would advise you to do is, if you're interested in diving into this even further, I'm trying to see if there's any kind of order I should follow. I was thinking that I would say a closer look at the Torah. You need to look at that one for sure. A closer look at the Torah. We start from where the word Torah actually came from. That's how detailed we get. And then we look at, well, who are the people who actually wrote the Torah? We look at that as well. And we look at a bunch of other things as it pertains to just the Torah itself. Because, see, a lot of you are just simply repeating what someone else told you, but you're not looking at it from a historical perspective. The mistake that a lot of people make is that they treat the Bible as the only unquestioned source of history, and that's not true. It just isn't. The Bible itself tells you, out of the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, let every word be established, right? Right. I agree with that. I think that's a good piece of advice. So why is it that people start when you start saying, okay, well, I got some other history books here. Let's make sure that what's being said here actually took place in history. Well, you can't do that, brother. Now, wait a minute now. You cannot do that because the Bible is true at the end of the day, and you can be trusting. I can't tell you how many Negroes I had told me that I need to stop reading books. I had to go, what? Like, I thought I was on the plantation. I thought I was on Mr. Johnson's plantation. Stop reading books. The only book you need to be reading, boy, is the Bible. Don't be reading any of these other books. See, that's the problem with some of y'all. You get too educated. I'm like, whoa. I was just seeing Uncle Ruckus just left it there. So I'm trying to tell you. And what I'm here to tell you is there's nothing wrong with asking questions. You are born, as you get a little bit older and you're able to move around as a child and walk, and you're able to mouth a few words, you are born curious. Your Creator made you that way. It's religion that kills it. It kills curiosity. That saying, curiosity killed the cat, that kind of thing. Well, religion kills curiosity in people like you and me. And there's nothing wrong with that. Well, brother, you can't be curious now, because if you're curious, next thing you know, you're going to end up in a brothel somewhere. You're going to end up having sex with something. Like, whoa, wait a minute. I'm just asking questions. Ain't nobody trying to tear their clothes off and go and have sex with nobody. I'm just asking some questions. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with asking questions? What's wrong with it? And I'm going to tell you what's wrong with it. What it does, it challenges what has been put in you generation to generation to generation. That's what it is. And when that foundation gets challenged, people get very uncomfortable and they get mad. They start venting. They start going all over the place. Can't stay on topic. And they just, their presuppositions or whatever trump everybody. No matter what you say, it's like, I don't care what you say. I still believe this and this is true and that's it. Okay, fine. I'm not going to kill you over that. I ain't going to, agree to disagree and keep it moving. Yeah, I'll tell you, it's something. So anyway, so a closer look at the Torah. That's one you definitely should look at if you haven't checked, if you haven't looked at any of these. Re-examining what we've been told. Trying to remember that one. Because I was looking at this, and most of these will point to these videos are over on Samba Tree. Wow, they're on my BondTube. Oh yeah. Re-examining what we've been told. Sorry, y'all. Hold on. So sorry. Let me switch the audio on this right quick here. There we go. All right. So with this series, what we did was we actually took the time to look at the people who actually assembled, who put the Bible together. Okay. People like Jerome, or what they say, Saint Jerome. Now, as you've seen this, and many of you who follow this platform, you've seen I've posted many paintings of this individual, and this man, his work, what he put together when it comes to the Bible. His work serves as the foundation for every translation that's out there. I don't care if you got the what's the one that they believe that's the one now, the Hallelujah Bible, the whatever. It's a whole bunch of them out there now. They say, no, this is the real Bible. No, this is the real Bible. No, this is the real Bible, and all of that. So you got all these people who claim that they got the real one. Meanwhile, Jerome, he's sitting up in his tomb like, bruh, I done wrote all of them, so it don't matter. Every Bible that you can point to, my work serves as the foundation of it. Bible. Hold on, let me just because like I said again, I'm taking every Bible that I have. It was like in Northern Africa or something like that. And he spent time with them over the years or whatever to understand Hebrew enough. And, and so he learned from that. And then between that and also the fact that he was sanctioned by Rome, so this is a man that basically was responsible for taking what was given to him by those that call themselves the Jews or Hebrews. And then what Rome gathered from the true followers of the Most High that were scattered all in that area, so that's what Rome does. They just snatch from all these different cultures. When they talk about the Roman road, for example, and how this. Okay, so I go on there and I just wanted to play some clips there. And so we talk about some of the things that Saint Jerome, what he actually believed as it pertains to women. And many of these people were straight up perverts. These people were demonic. Did you know that the same institution that gave you the Bible also came up with a book called it's considered the largest physical Bible, period. And they referred to it as the Devil's Bible. I'm not making this up. We talk about that as well. Yes, Rome also produced what's called the Devil's Bible. And in the Devil's Bible, you can look it up. You can pause me and you can open up another tab on your browser and look it up yourself. In that Bible, they have a whole big painting of what they believe is Satan. And then they have a whole bunch of Hebraic spells that are all in it, along with some other incantations and all this other stuff. And then it's a whole bunch of stuff. It's like the largest Bible, as far as if I can remember correctly. And I'm just kind of thumbing through here a little bit and showing you all kinds of stuff here. This is all from their writings and all of that. So we provide a lot of information when it comes to this. And then we leave it up to you as to what you want to believe at the end of the day. But what's not going to happen is you're not going to roll up here and be like, well, God said it and I believe it and that settles it. No, we're going to be asking questions, just like we'll just be asking questions this evening. Okay. And being respectful at the same time. Okay. So that was re-examining what we've been told, right? Now, this series here, the circumcision series, you definitely need to watch that as well, because here we go and we talk about the origins of circumcision. Where did that come from? Well, it came from the Bible. Well, the Bible commands us that we all got to be, as males, you got to be circumcised. Okay. Well, where did the Bible get circumcision from? Have you ever stopped to think about that? Probably not. You just simply went with it because that's what your teacher, that's what your pastor told you. That circumcision, we got to do it because that's what God says. But the same pastor or even you will turn around and say, well, America is an evil nation and God's going to damn it to hell, basically. Why did I bring up America just now? Well, it's because for years and years and years, this country, along with other countries, used to mandate circumcision. So why were they mandating circumcision in this country? But yet this country is an evil country. So that should try to tell you, that should kind of be a little clue that perhaps, just perhaps, circumcision didn't necessarily start with the Bible. Maybe it has origins that go past or prior to the Bible. And we provide a lot of information, not just on that, but we also look at the impact of circumcision on the male, psychologically, spiritually, and physically. And if you're a male and you're watching me and you have not watched this series, I really encourage you to watch this series because it will definitely change your life. It will, as it pertains to circumcision. And you may say, well, it's too late for me. I'm already circumcised. Well, I'm in that club too. But my life ain't over. Okay. When you are equipped with the truth, you become empowered. And now you can make adjustments and you can stop the madness being passed down to your children and your children's children. Okay. So so that circumcision series, you definitely want to watch that. And of course you have the Who and the L Are You Following series. And that one is quite lengthy. Again, we talk about the different gods that are mentioned in the Bible. We talk about, and yes, it's not just one God. There are many gods that are mentioned in the Bible, and the different names. We go through the books like Psalms is another book as well. It's not come to me, but Psalms for sure make references to other deities. We talk about the Parthenon of gods that the Canaanites had, and then somehow that got blended in with the Hebrew spiritual world and all of that. We break all of that down. We look at all of that. And, we talk about the origins of Yah. Where does Yah come from? Who is Yah really? And where did Yah actually come from? And when I say Yah, I'm talking about Yahweh, Yahweh, whatever you want to call him. If it has Yah in it, it's all tied into this singular deity. And that deity is a Canaanite deity. All right. So we show you that we're not just making a claim. We actually show you. And, people got mad and they continue to get mad. No, you're not. You're wrong, brother. That ain't true. Okay, well, show us exactly where we're wrong. I'm not sitting up here trying to make like I know everything, because I certainly don't. But I do know how to read, and, and I do know how to do some research, and, and all it takes is maybe 10 minutes of that, and you can find out some of these things just on your own. But I just showed you all of that just so that you can see that this ain't just, we're just sitting here and just coming up with something and we just trying to throw people off and all that. No, what we have demonstrated on this platform, or at least try to, is that it's a process, and coming from realizing that you've been lied to and making a determination that no matter what, you are going to pursue truth above all else. And, anybody can say that they are pursuing truth, but truth can be a very hurtful thing. It can be something that scares a lot of people. You understand what I'm saying? It can be a very scary thing. It can be very intimidating, but it's something that if you're about the truth, you better make sure that you're prepared to be about it for real. And it's going to challenge you, and it's going to cause you to make some serious changes. And that's what we try to kind of document on our platform here. So I would really encourage you, if you want to kind of peek in a little bit and see what we're about and what we believe and all of that, you can check that out. Okay. Check out all of that I just shared with you. Okay. Okay, so anyway, so with all of that being said, oh, I gotta hold up the comb again. Come on, camera, get with me. Okay, there you go. All right. Okay, yeah. Let me share this real quick here. Okay, this is the last thing. Very, very, very short to the point. Okay. Now, I've also done a video on this as well, and I'm trying to remember which video it was. I'll remember it and I'll post it somewhere. Okay. Someone said, Bill Jack says, you need to read. Okay, let me add this here. He says, you need to read more and not from Chat GPT. We are those people out of Egypt. Get it right. I think, Bill, you're probably reading from Chat GPT. This is exactly what I'm talking about. As you can see, family, you see how I spent literally 20 plus minutes. How I've been on here, if not more, showing you meticulously what we have gone through and how we demonstrate. Chat GPT wasn't even mentioned there at all. And so let me go ahead and get rid of Bill because he is in love with his book. And so we're going to get rid of him so he can have a good night with that book. So we're going to say he can keep it moving there. Okay. So anyway, let's move on. So let me share this with you and then we're going to get right to the phones. Okay. All right. So one of the things now, question may arise. People have asked, they say, well, is Christianity a white man's religion? Now, I've seen Christian apologists try to address this, and they go all around the bush and they try to, and what they do is they'll find some obscure people within the Bible and they will say, well, yeah, he kind of, sort of, might have, could have, should have, would have been black. And so, yeah, they were black. They were Christians. And then they always like to mention, this King Alfonso, whatever, from the Congo. They love mentioning him and say, yeah, he was the first Christian king. So yes, Congo was in fact a Christian kingdom. And that's where it all begins. They love going there. But here's the part that they leave out. Okay. So first and foremost, prior to missionary, or not missionaries, but prior to the Europeans going to that part of, Africa, and I'm saying outside of Egypt, there was no knowledge of a Bible. Okay, let me repeat that. There was no knowledge of a Bible, not in Central South Africa. Remember, the Bible itself, most of the Old Testament and all of the New Testament was written in Egypt. Have a whole video that gives you all the facts on that. I'm not just saying that just to be saying that. You can look this stuff up yourself. Look up where the Septuagint was written. Look up where most of the Old Testament was written. You'll find that that's where it was written. It wasn't written, while they were on the go and they were, being chased down by Roman soldiers. No, this was written in Egypt. And the thing that always puzzled me about that is it was written during the time when these Hebrews had access to their promised land, but yet they were putting together this book, the Bible, in Egypt. So I'm like, why? But you got to go back to the place that God cursed to write the Bible, but it doesn't make sense. In one of the videos, I think is in the Who in the L series, we even look at the etymology of the word Jerusalem. We talk about that and where that word Jerusalem actually comes from and what it's tied to and all that stuff. When I tell you, it goes into a lot of deep details, things that you can look up on your own. I'm not playing. So you definitely need to set aside some time and you need to look that up on your own. Okay. All right, let's move on. So this really, really quick, this is how Christianity was introduced to most of your ancestors. And I say I'm talking mostly those of us that came through the transatlantic slave trade. Okay. And that is because those of us that came through the transatlantic slave trade, most of your ancestors came either from Central or Southern Africa. All right. That's where most of us come from. We can trace our roots through that Bantu area. Okay. Most of us come through that part right there. Okay. So even like if you have taken a DNA test or whatever, and they say Western Africa, or they'll mention Western parts of Africa, A lot of times people, when they hear Western Africa, they just think of Nigeria or Ghana. Yes, that's West Africa, but that's up a little bit higher on the coast, if you will. But West Africa is the whole coast, okay? But for many of us that came, our ancestors came through the transatlantic slave trade and ended up in the Americas and Caribbean and all of that. Most of us can trace our roots through Angola, Congo, and there's other areas too that will show up in your DNA records. However, keep in mind, places like Ghana, places like Nigeria, these were slave ports, meaning that the Africans that came through those ports were coming from all over Africa. They weren't just coming from Nigeria. They were coming from all over. So your ancestors mainly come from Central, Southern Africa, and we talk all about that in our series. So again, you can look at that. But anyway, this is how it was introduced again. So I will put this link in the chat too. You can look this up yourself. It's a long link, but you can look this up yourself. This page here actually goes through the story of how the King of Portugal went to, issued this mandate, if you will, to go into the part of Africa that I was just talking about and to get these people. I'm trying to find a good place to start here. It was the Pope. I said the king. It was the Pope. Sorry. That's what was throwing me off. I said, did I just say king? No, the Pope. Okay. So I'm just going to read a little bit of this. Okay. But like I gave you the link, you can look it up on your own. Like I said, it's a long link, but you can, if you click it, it should take you to it. All right. 15th century Iberian legal traditions regulated Christians' treatment of Jews, Muslims, and other Christians, clearly delineating, for example, who was enslavable and who was not. In contrast, the judicial status of people who did not fit those categories was more ambiguous. Legal and philosophical arguments to address this issue began to evolve during the second half of the 15th century, once Portuguese mariners began to return to Iberia with captives acquired in West Africa and West Central Africa. Notably, the treatment of black Gentiles, quote unquote, was addressed in 1452 and 1455 when Pope Nicholas V issued a series of papal bulls that granted Portugal the right to enslave sub-Saharan Africans. Church leaders argued that slavery served as a natural deterrent and Christianizing influence to barbarous behavior amongst pagans. Using this logic, the Pope issued a mandate to the Portuguese king Alfonso V and instructed him to, pay attention, to invade, search out, capture, vanquish, and subdue all Saracens, hope I'm saying that right, and pagans whatsoever land, to reduce their persons to perpetual slavery and to apply and appropriate to himself and his successors the kingdom, dukedoms, countries, principalities, dominions, possessions, and goods, and to convert them to his and their use and profit. All right. And let's see. I want to read the rest of this here. Okay, let me see. I just read that part here, and then let me just read this paragraph. Though the Papal Bull mentions invading and vanquishing African peoples, no European nation was willing or able to put an army in Western Africa until the Portuguese colonization of Angola more than a century later. And even then, Portuguese forces received extensive aid from armies of Mbangala or Jaga mercenaries. Early raids such as the one made by Gonzalez and Tristão in 1441 were unusual and may have been possible because the Portuguese had never previously raided south of Cape Bojador. Portuguese mariners soon learned that inhabitants along the upper Guinea coast were more than capable of defending themselves from such incursions. Not long after the 1441 voyage, Tristão and most of his crew were killed off the coast of present-day Senegal. And then it goes on. Okay, so if you read this, they didn't know too much about anything about this part of Africa. They were very familiar with Egypt, but they didn't know too much about this part of Africa. I mean, they really didn't know anything about it. But they were going back to what Miles Monroe was saying, because they were they had that Roman mindset, they felt ordained by God that they were to go into these lands and to basically to force these people into becoming converts, to becoming Christian converts. And it's not just Africa, of course. I mean, we can look in South America. We can look in all the Americas for that matter. We can look in New Zealand, Australia, all of these different places where as soon as they came in with that flag, they not only did they come with the flag, but they also came with the authority of the Pope. Hey, we're here. Oh, and by the way, we're going to convert you. And if you don't convert, we're going to kill you anyway, and we're going to take your land. This, ladies and gentlemen, is how Christianity was introduced to your ancestors. Now, what these people have done is that they have told you that this is the way. But whatever you were believing prior to us coming, that's of the devil. That's witchcraft. That's all of that is witchcraft. It's demonic. It's evil. It's wicked. Am I telling you that you need to go back to African spirituality? No, I am not. Am I telling you that you got to start bringing out old, wooden gods and stuff like that? No, I'm not. Because as far as I'm concerned, now one of those gods were there on the shores trying to stop them from enslaving us. So I'm sure enough ain't trying to tell you to turn to any gods like that. Do you understand what I'm saying? But we have to be truthful when we assess Christianity. We have to be absolutely truthful and factual when we look at Christianity and the history of it. And these people, again, they were not sitting around in churches waiting for the white man to come and take them away to their new job site. That's not what was going down. These people had no idea as far as Christianity is concerned. But did they have an understanding of a creator, one that created all of what we see, the earth and the animals and stuff like that, and the spiritual connection between creation and the creator? Absolutely. And we've talked about that as well. But Christianity was a whole nother thing that came along. All right. So anyway, I just wanted to give you a little bit of that history and all of that. One more thing I will bring up too is that one of the deep questions for me that I had in my journey as well, because like I said, again, I've been in this thing for a long time, was, when the Bible says they shall lay hands on the sick and they shall recover. Right. And I would look around and I would see that it seems as if the people who have a long history of being the most faithful to the Bible are the ones that are most sick. However, the people who are pushing the Bible on us, they're the ones that are doing quite well and been doing very well for a very long time. And I'm like, no, what the Bible says, we shall lay hands on the sick and they shall recover. And I've noticed throughout the years, and many, many years, anytime when someone would die, we would just say, well, the Lord just needed another choir member. Well, I guess it was their time. Oh, it was this and all of this. But nobody is walking in this power that the Bible says that we're supposed to have. And then I had one person says, well, what do you expect that God is going to be able to use this wicked generation? I'm like, well, there was a wicked generation when Jesus was on the earth, wasn't it? The ones that crucified him. They were more wicked than this. So my question was, where was all that? Where's the power, if you will, that was promised? I think it's a basic question. I don't hate people over that. I'm not a hateful person. I'm just simply asking. You understand? And we did a whole broadcast where I had the phone line open. I said, someone give me an answer, and nobody could. And I shared about my own testimony with my father as well. Years, faithful. I mean, in terms of the word and praying and going out there and doing that, and gone, and asking and still asking, laying hands on the sick. I saw how my mother laid hands on him. I saw how me and others lay hands and prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed. You understand what I'm saying? And many of you had those same stories, and it's okay to wonder and to ask those things. There's people out here right now, they get scared when you start bringing that up. Oh, don't you say that now, because see, it's all his time. And a choir director, can you go ahead and start playing this song? They don't want to hear it. They don't want to ask, because see, while you're trying to distract from those basic observations, there's some little children out there that'll wonder, Mommy, why did he die? You said that you telling me these stories in the Bible where the disciples, they went all throughout town. They were laying hands on people, and they were cripples and the blind and all that stuff was getting healed and all that. What happened? Why we ain't seeing that today? Oh, honey, well, according to pastor, we ain't paying enough tithes. So all of that nonsense, we're gonna have to put that. We're gonna have to put that away, and we're gonna have to start being truthful. So anyway, with all of that being said, I have to go through all of that because we always have first timers here, and I want them to kind of get a full picture so that when you call, the table is already set. Okay. And now you can, know what's up. And so what we're going to do. So right now, what I'm doing, I'm going to put the phone number up on the screen, and I don't care what walk of life you come from. So you're in Christianity, you're a Hebrew, you're Muslim, whatever. It don't matter to me. All I simply would like to know tonight is, why do you believe what you believe? It's a very simple question. And like I said, again, here, you're not going to get embarrassed, at least not intentionally. I'm not trying to embarrass anybody, not going to talk down on you or anything like that. I just simply ask that you stay on topic. So I know, and for some of our people, it's a very difficult thing to stay on topic. So if you call on this live and you're like, hey, Brother Dwayne, I'll just call it. Can you check my order on Saba Tree? I love you and I appreciate the purchase, but I'm going to have to hang up on you, okay? Because I'm going to really need you to follow instructions tonight, okay? We can make this a wonderful time and a good learning experience as people all over are learning and trying to piece things together and all of that. There's a lot of people who are just completely shook, about a number of things, and we just need to kind of get our footing. You know what I'm saying? So please do all of us a favor and stay on topic. That's all I ask you to do. Okay. And be respectful. Okay. Because I certainly intend on being respectful with you. Okay. So anyway, let me get this set up here. It takes less than a minute here. So I'm going to turn this on. That is on. And now I will put the phone number up on the screen. And there you go. There's the phone number on the screen. You can go ahead and call in. And I know there's a delay on this thing here. So, yeah, go ahead and call in. And so tonight, again, the question is, why do you believe what you believe? I will also throw in there, can you explain it without using the Bible? Oh, can you explain it? Or is 100% what you believe the Bible and that's it? And that's okay. I just would like to hear, why do you believe what you believe? Because a lot of people are very hot and heavy and can be very verbose in the comment section. But once you put a phone number up in the face, it's like, I got to go. Now all of a sudden you got a pot roast in the oven. Okay. Now you got a peanut butter and jelly sandwich you got to tend to. But anyway, we are here and would love to hear from you. So you can give us a call at any time. And so make sure, like I said, you can check out those links that I provided for you for our link tree. Like I said, there's a lot of information on there. Also the playlist here on YouTube, that's going to give you some things. You can go on there as well. And then also, if you have any questions at all for us, you can always reach out to us. It is connect at journeyman. No, is it? Yeah, connect at journeymanandwoman.com. I thought I messed up on that because I was like, did we change that? Yeah. Connect at journeymanandwoman.com. And don't email me at connect at issacharronline.com. Every now and then I still have people trying to email on that one, and I barely check that, because I'm only reason why that's still up is because, I'm just letting that one just kind of come in for a good landing. You know what I'm saying? And but I'm eventually cut that off completely. So, but anyway, one more time, the question for tonight is, why do you believe what you believe, and can you explain it? So for example, let me just say this: if you are an individual that claim to be Hebrew, can you prove that without using the Bible? Because, for example, I can prove to you that I am of African origin, and I don't need the Bible for that. In fact, there's very few books at all that I need to prove that I am of African origin. We've done a whole series, well, not a whole series, but it was several videos I know we've done where we talked about mannerisms, the way we speak and all this. So we looked at a whole bunch of things that we don't even need books to prove that you are of African origin. You know what I'm saying? And, so can you prove that, for example, you are Hebrew without using the Bible? Because if you're a Hebrew, that means you have a culture that you can point to in your own household, that you can point to and say, yes, because we have been doing this for umpteen years. Or in my household, we speak Hebrew. We've been speaking Hebrew. My great grandfather, he was speaking Hebrew, and my grandfather, he was speaking Hebrew, or my grandmother, she used to cook these Hebrew dishes and all this stuff. Okay. Well, I mean, that would be interesting, because you don't come across that every day, but, first time is always, a possibility. So yeah, if you're one of those out there that have that kind of history, I would definitely love to hear that. Okay. So we got a call coming in right now. Let's see. All right. Caller, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, loud and clear.
All right. So how you doing this evening?
I'm doing fairly good. Brother Dwayne, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm all ears.
You sound good.
All right. So I'm here for you. So what you got for us this evening?
Well, first and foremost, I'd like to just give the Lord thanks for you and Sister Nicole. Mm-hmm. You guys have truly been a blessing. Mm. I'm excited about what you all have been doing. I've been following you guys for a minute now. Mm. And I love your enthusiasm. I love your genuineness. Mm. And the fact that it really is obvious that you love people. Mm. And it's also obvious to me, I'm older now, I'm 70, although I still feel like I'm 50. I still feel like I'm in my 50s, but
you do sound like that. Yeah, you do sound younger.
Yeah, I've been told that. Thank you.
All right. Can you turn your volume down in the back a little bit? Because I can hear me talking.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry about that.
Oh, no, you're fine. Go ahead.
But, no, you both remind me of my sister and my brother-in-law. Mm. Enthusiastic, if I can just get this to go down, enthusiastic about life. Mm-hmm. And about the life of living for the Most High.
Yeah.
So now, mm-hmm. And I can also tell that folks like you, because that's how me and my siblings, we roll, very anxious to do something and help people. And oh boy, that's where the testing of patience comes in, because mm-hmm. you know how folks can be. But in any event, the question of the day is, why do you believe what you believe? Mm-hmm. I'm going to say, well, that's how I was raised, initially to say something like that. But see, we came up with the first generation of the Azusa Street folk. Mm-hmm. They didn't play. Mm-hmm. And see, we saw people get healed.
Mm-hmm.
We saw deliverance,
Mm-hmm.
and we saw people living the life,
Mm-hmm.
praying, fasting, shut-ins. You see, all that old-fashioned stuff that folks kind of got away from.
Yes.
And as a result, they got away from the power of the Holy Spirit.
Mm.
And so we saw that. And then we transitioned because we felt, well, some of those rules and regulations, I don't know. As when you're young, you want to kind of still do your thing. Then we weren't going to be hypocrites. So we said, one day we'll come in and we'll get saved when we're old. And the old for us was in our 30s, but...
Right.
It was in our 30s. It was like, okay, the disco thing is tired now. We're adults and we have to kind of like get it together.
Yeah.
And as a result, the word of faith movement came about.
Yeah.
The best thing for us was the fact that, okay, they're teaching. It's not just hearing, the scriptures and the Bible stories and all of that, and that's wonderful and everything, but we are learning, and we had such a hunger and a thirst. We were breaking our necks to get to Wednesday night service, and we would look at each other and say, did we ever think we would do this? Rush to get to service. But after a few years, because that was in the 80s now, after a few years, it was like, there's more. Faith is an attribute of God. It's like there's more to this than just faith. And we wanted more. And my brother was a student of eschatology. I mean, he was like, why? And, he was always asking why. And one of the younger women in the church, she had approached him and she said, you know what? God told me to tell you to stop asking him why and to just, and to search him for yourself. And he was a Johnny can't read in school. He had dyslexia, similar to, but it wasn't diagnosed at the time, similar to Cosby's son had that too. And as a result, it was like, okay, he has a library today. I mean, that fella has more books because it was like he had a ferocious appetite for learning and for not just the scriptures. He said, please. He said, this is fine. He said, but there's more. There's so much more.
Yes.
And he was digging and searching like you and Nicole. And that's why I can appreciate what you all are doing. A lot of people may not get it because they're so stuck on the norm. One thing about black folk, they like to walk in lockstep.
Yeah.
Everybody got to be marching to the same tune. And my father always told the think out of the box was not a phrase he was used back then, but his was use your head. And we used to think he's so skeptical and cynical. No, he was being realistic. He said, don't, because parents are older and they've lived and they've seen. And he said, don't you believe everything you've heard? He said, there's a whole lot of stuff that we have not been told. He said, but dig and look for it yourself. He said, and ask God to guide you, and he will. And sure enough, we started finding out stuff that was blowing our minds. And like I said, I believe we believe the way we believe based on experiences, what we've seen, what we have seen in terms of the real church. Because see, we used to sit there and kind of chuckle at the Baptist folks. It's like, yeah, they go to service, and then after church they go to the post or the VFW hall or whatever. And it's like, no, you ain't supposed to be going to no bar after church.
Right.
But whenever somebody in their family was in trouble,
yes, ma'am,
or there was sickness, they would come. They knew what church to come running to.
Yes, ma'am.
And well, can y'all pray for Johnny? He going to see the judge, or my mom is real sick, and so can the pastor come by the house and pray for? No problem. You pray for people, they come out of their situation, and they forget all about coming to the house of worship.
Yeah.
They forget all about it. So we saw, I believe the way I believe, and so does my siblings, based on what we grew up in knowing what
Yes.
was truth, because my grandfather was the pastor, so we were, grand PKs. And so, so it's like, but we knew, it was just like, to us, it was like he was, I'll say Abraham, because he was the first of our family, because he was the first of all his siblings. Mind you, this man was born like in 1892 or something. Yeah, so he and my grandma, they came through the Azusa Street movement. But his whole thing was, and he told my dad, he said, I don't care if you go to a Baptist church or to an AME church. You don't have to come to the Pentecostal church if you don't want to. He said, but just remember one thing. He said, you have to live by the 10 Commandments. He said, that is the foundation, the 10. He said, I don't care what other folks will tell you. And then when we were like, the 10 Commandments, because the Christian church told us, you don't need the 10 Commandments. That's done away with. And it wasn't until we got into, quote, the Hebrew way. You know what I'm saying? When we discovered that, we were like, Dad always said that we were the true people. Why do you think we go through so much HE double hockey sticks?
Right.
And I was like, yeah, Dad, right, okay. You know how you just kind of blow it off. And it's like when the truth started coming out about who our people, who we are, I said it lines up. It really, I said, no wonder, because as a kid, when they would talk about Adam was the first man, and we knew that Adam and Eve were created on the continent. We were told that as children by my mother. She said the first humans were in Africa. She said, and I used to think, well, no wonder black men catch it so bad, because whenever Satan sees a black man, he sees Adam. That was my way of, I said, he sees God's creation, so he hates him. And as a result, hates us females too. And so I believe what I believe based on, now we were always taught to be critical thinkers, because they stopped critical thinking, well, if they really ever had it in school. But I would say like in the 60s when I was in grammar school, you had to think the way they want. And if you did not, it was brouhaha, because I caused a sensation in my 5th grade class when they came in with that, evolution. And I stood up and said, you must be kidding.
Right.
And I said, all you Catholic kids in here, you go to catechism, you're taught that of creation. I said, all you Jewish kids here in the class, you go to Hebrew school because you're studying for bar mitzvah and bat mitzvah. And they were like, yeah, that's true.
Right.
And the teacher told my mother, I don't know what to do with her, because the kids are listening to her. And my mother said, the kids are listening to the truth. And you know it. And you know what the teacher said? I know, but it's part of the curriculum, and I have to teach this. So she said, my mother said, well, you can teach what you want. She said, but if there's a test, Donna better not fail it. She said,
I know that's right. Right. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So basically, that's I believe what I believe, because I was privileged enough to be of a generation where I saw miracle signs and wonders.
Yeah.
And the reason why we're not seeing them today is because the true followers of the word have it's like it has, or I should say the tenets of the word, it has been so watered down that it's and I'm Pentecostal, Church of God in Christ. I'm proud enough to say that was my background. Yes, and there was some serious stuff going on there, like I said, in terms of stuff happening. But I'm old enough to know that after the first Bishop died and his son-in-law took over, things started changing.
Right, right.
And
That's
it
usually
just
the
went
case.
and it went from bad to worse.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes,
Mm-hmm.
I remember clearly when what's his name? Clinton was running for president the first time around. And he was in Memphis, and he was in Atlanta, and he was at the church, and the news covered it, and they said, "Oh, President Clinton is at Bishop Owens' church," and I remember when Bishop Owens was an elder, when he was in his 30s, because I was like teenager, and I thought he was so dreamy. And and then he moved up the ranks, and he became the prelate, the bishop prelate.
Yeah.
And he had I said, you come a long way, Owens. And he had, what's his name, in the pulpit, Bill Clinton. He was campaigning. And I had said to my dad, I happened to stop by their house, I said, oh, look who's on the news. And he had his newspaper up, and he was listening. He eased that newspaper down, and he looked at the TV, and he said, he's in the pulpit. I said, Dad, he is. He said, he's not on the platform, he's in the pulpit. He said, okay. And that's all he said, and he just lifted the newspaper back up and kept reading.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, that was sacrilegious, because women and non-elders were never allowed. You could stand on the platform, but not go in the pulpit.
Mm-hmm.
That was for the clergy. So it started, I said, oh, watering.
Yeah.
Till now it's lukewarm, and you just want to spit it out of your mouth. But I'm excited about, the movement of our people knowing who they are, finding out who they are, but also not being blinded by, like you have mentioned, the 66 books, the magic number.
Right.
Oh, yes, we have to go by that. It's like, are you serious? I often wondered, well, the other disciples, they were 12.
Yeah.
They didn't write anything down. They didn't have nothing to say.
Right. Well,
Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. I'm like, that's all we had. I'm like, well, where's the rest?
Where the rest of them? Right.
Exactly.
Right.
But see, people don't like to ask questions or challenge. They act like it's so sacrosanct that they can't dare. And it's like, you better ask questions. How do you think we got here?
Right.
They told us it was a 3-hour tour. Get on the boat.
Right.
You're going to Gilligan's
Right.
Island.
Right.
We didn't even stop to ask, why I got to get on the boat? You better start asking. And that's our people's problem. And we get very hostile with those who do ask.
Yeah.
Why you got to rock the boat? Just go on. So you keep doing what you're doing, Brother Dwayne.
Well, that's what I'm going to do. So I appreciate the call, and I thank you so much. Thank you for taking time to call in, sis, okay?
Oh, yes. And you guys be blessed on your latest journey, and your children, too.
All right. Thank you so much. You
Okay.
take care now. Bye-bye. That was very good. Very good. Yeah, just a lot there. Like I said, again, tonight, family, listen, like in all the times when we have people call in, the goal here isn't to convert you into anything at all. I just want to hear you. Why do you believe what you believe? And that's pretty much it. There's a couple of things she mentioned there. I'll see if I have time to touch on it too. She mentioned about the 10 Commandments. She talked about the 12 disciples, the apostles, 12 disciples. They were the disciples first, and they became apostles. And we talked about the origin of that, as well in one of our videos. I think it is in the Who in the L series. That is Who in the L series. When I tell you we went through a whole lot, and we even touched on that and where that came from, and so the big thing, for us is really saying, you know what, at the end of the day, if you want to learn about the Creator, you have to first learn about the creation of the Creator. Take the time and learn about the creation of the Creator. And that's what we've done. If I want to learn about Apple computers, I need to get an Apple computer so I can learn about the person who designed it. Do you understand what I'm saying? was no different than looking at birds or, that's why we tell people all the time, go outside, go outside, go outside. It ain't deep. Y'all, the problem is too many of our people have been focused on, well, he got a PhD in front of his name, or he's got a RAV in front of his name, and we got to depend on him because he or she knows, or she's a prophetess. She's a prophetess. And so, a prophetess is she's going to know. Child, just going outside, because by just simply going outside, something as simple as that, you will get to learn and sit in silence. You will get to understand just a little bit of who your creator is, how your creator thinks and puts things together. And you'll be able to say, well, if it works like that with them, then it should. Now I'm beginning to understand my relationship with my family, a little bit seriously. But it takes time of slowing down and silencing the noise. And you don't need a book. Just like I said earlier, I don't need a book to tell me that I'm from Africa. There are plenty of things just in me. Just think of a seed. And this is the example I used a while back. Everything that a seed needs, a tree needs, it's all packed into the seed. Everything. When was the last time you saw an oak tree sitting down looking at on a Zoom call? A bunch of oak trees up there trying to learn how to be an oak tree. A bunch of seeds sitting together, and they're like, okay, so in order to grow, we're gonna have to do this, and we're gonna have to go to we're gonna have to set up a Pinterest account. Then after we set up a Pinterest account and put up a couple of selfies, then we're gonna have to go to this seminar. But we're going to have to pay money in order to enter into the seminar so that we can learn. And then we got to go see this documentary that's put out so that we can learn how to be an effective tree, so that we can understand our roots. Because once we understand our roots and who we are and where we came from, we will know where we're going. Hallelujah. All that. You don't see no trees doing that. You don't see seeds doing that. They are born with everything you need to be who your creator wanted you to be. It's already in you. And I'm just talking plant seeds. How much more you think is already inside of you? What are the things that are required for a seed to grow? The optimum environment, such as sunlight, such as water, being around the right frequencies and all of that. Those are the basic things, making sure you have the right intake. Some of y'all, you got everything you need right now, but you are an oak tree trying to grow amongst weeds. You are literally an oak tree, and you're wondering why you're not the height of an oak tree, because you're measuring yourself with some weeds. Do you understand what I'm saying? And that's the problem with many of our people. We think that, we gotta all be together, it's all together. Listen, I love my people. I want to be around my people, but I don't want to be around all my people, because some of my people are like weeds that do need to be pulled up. I don't need them be around me. I'm sorry. I will never be what my creator has created me to be if I'm just hanging around some weeds that they just weeds. They ain't some poison ivy. Some of y'all you're an oak tree in a whole field of poison ivy, and mad because you ain't growing up to be what you supposed to be. Oh boy. Anyway, the phone line is open again. You're more than welcome to call. Again, just simply talking about your experience. Why do you believe what you believe? What got you to this point? The goal is here not to convert you to anything. She the young 70-year-old woman that just called here, she mentioned about, growing up in the time and seeing people, there were healings. She witnessed people getting healed and all of that stuff. And all those things are true. We're not saying, that was just an illusion and all that stuff. So those are experiences that we can pull on and grow on those things. And we can ask questions. Okay, what changed? Was it just because, is it simply because we got a pastor that was worldly? Or is it something else? Is the foundation we're standing on, is it a firm foundation to begin with? So these are questions that we should be free to ask these things, and then you make adjustments accordingly. So anyway, I'm not going to beg y'all, but like I said, again, people are very verbose in the comment section, but once you put the phone number up, it's, I can't talk. And honestly, you don't have to call. I'm used to being by myself. I'm used to being lonely. No, I'm just playing. But yeah, so anyway, phone line is open. We'll be here for a few more moments. I've kind of, if you're just joining us, first part of this broadcast, I actually, kind of went through a little bit, gave you kind of a cursory view of our journey here, and all the information that we've laid out. There's nothing hidden. We ain't just pivot one night and that's it. This is a process. You know what I'm saying? And yes, for many of you, you're operating on things that were passed down to you from your grandparents, your parents, and all of that. And what we don't want to encourage people to do is to take those experiences, particularly those experiences, that the good ones that you had in the church and all of that, and throw them all away. See, that was one of the problems we had even in the Hebrew world, was that's what was one of the things that was saying, all that time was wasted. No, it wasn't. There's a lot of good things that came out of that. And what we're simply saying is, understand you can build on the truth, build on those good things, but that other stuff, we need to learn to separate that. And now let's take a deeper dive, and now let's look at, where did this stuff come from in the first place? Are we even on the firm foundation? Or is our foundation, where did it come from? Who's the person that poured the foundation in the first place? Who are these people? So, it takes time to kind of go through all this and to ask these questions, and that's it. So, just a few more moments. I'll put some music on here because, like I said, I ain't gonna be sitting up here begging nobody. So anyway, so the phone number is here on the screen. Again, if you have any questions at all from me, any questions at all, feel free to give me a call. Here's the phone number on the screen there. Once the phone number disappears, that's it. Don't be calling me after this broadcast. Or if you're not watching this live and you're like, oh, let me call him real quick. I've seen some people try to do that. I ain't returning your call, okay? It ain't like that. If you're not watching this live and you try to call me, I'm not calling you back. So if you're trying to call, this is the time to do it, okay? So you got the number there on the screen. Let's see what we got coming up next here. We'll be doing a live again. So I'm talking to Nicole the next time. Her and I will be doing a live again. Doing that live in the kitchen, that was fun. I really enjoyed doing that. We'll be doing more of that very soon. And we just kind of, January and part of February is usually kind of like, it's kind of like a hard hat. I don't even know how to describe it, but we're pushing our way through it, and then we'll be going on some trips and stuff pretty soon, and we talked about some places we want to go. So I'm very excited about this year and some of the things we're going to be sharing with y'all and showing you guys as we're out and about and all of that, and be doing a lot of things. But anyway, I think that's it. Because like I said, I ain't going to be on here too long. But if anybody, we'll do this from time to time. And like I said, we welcome people to, if you have any questions at all, we do broadcasts like this where we invite people to call in and with any of your questions or anything like that. Because like I said, people got a lot to say in the comment section, a lot to say. But when it comes to this, I know, talking to a real person, oh my God, it's... It's okay. I ain't making fun of you, but it's okay. But anyway, we're here for you. We love you guys very, very, very much. And if there's nobody else calling, I'm going to go ahead and turn this off. That's going to be it for me. I'll go ahead and turn that joint off. Turn this phone number off here. And I think we're going to call it a wrap tonight. The music ended right on cue for me. Thank you so much for tuning in, you guys. Hey, you guys take care. And I will see you the next time. Love you guys very much. Take care.